Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. John White, the Chief Medical Officer at WebMD, and you're watching Your Health on Tech. Home is where the health is. Have you heard that phrase? Basically, it means what you do at home and where you live is more important than simply going to the doctor's office once or twice a year. We now have the technology to do many things in our home that we used to only be able to do in the doctor's office. Take blood pressure, perform lab tests, even check an EKG. This is just the start. And my guest today says the bathroom, yes, the bathroom is the future doctor's office. A mirror can check your skin for changes. Thermosensors will monitor our temperature. A toothbrush will check for any bacteria. And a bath mat tracks our weight, our muscle mass, our bone density, and even tells us if we're at risk for a fall. And the toilet. A toilet will monitor your urine every day for signs of diabetes or infection. And it could even check your stool for possible cancer. These aren't all ready for prime time quite yet, but we're getting there. Please welcome my guest, Thomas Serval. He's the CEO and co-founder of Baracoda, and he's going to tell us what's currently available and what's on the horizon. Thomas, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Now, I visited with you recently in Paris, and I have to say I was impressed with many of the technologies that I witnessed. This bathroom, that's the future doctor's office. Some are still prototypes, as you explained to me, but talk to us, what's the status of these technologies today?
Well, the future of the bathroom is to be connected. That's really our belief. And the technology about connectivity is now pretty well mature in terms of pure technology. Well, adoption and standardization is still a long way to go because customer and government needs to agree about all the principle of data collection. So I would say the fundamentals are already there. Usage needs to be created. We have some use case, but there are some challenges ahead of us. So the bricks are there, the building is not built. That's how I will put it right now.
Do we still have some work in assuring the accuracy of these devices? You know, the accuracy of temperature, the accuracy of identifying bacteria, through a toothbrush. Is there still work? Because I would feel like we're going to get there on those features. What's your thoughts on that?
As you know, getting your device medical grade requires you to prove all this. So I think it's a good indication to know when there will be CE or FDA certified devices to know that the market is really ready. What we know now is like on some segment, like toothbrushing, that where we started, and some skin analysis, we have some evidence. We also know like a couple of research centers have even been able to certify their software for skin cancer analysis. So you have many elements that are not been fully integrated into a customer experience. So as far as accuracy, I can't say what is accurate right now on a general basis, but what I can tell you is like on the temperature side, we now have the maturity and experience, so it's not a problem. On the heart measurement, depending on what we're looking for, if it's a device-based solution, we have medical grade accuracy. There are some partners of ours are now able to certify their software in CE, not in the FDA, about heartbeat monitoring via camera. So that's a very close future.
Now, you and I first met when you were talking about your bath mat. And what I think is interesting about this is we talk a lot here at WebMD about wearables, what we call the smart jewelry. I've got a smartwatch on, but the new term I've been learning is nearables, devices that might be near us that we don't actually need to be wearing. Now, the bath mat is pretty exciting. So it's not your standard mat that you come out of the shower and step on. Tell us about this bath mat and why you're so excited about it and how it plays into our overall health.
We believe in seamless technology because we have a lot of data about usage in the bathroom, and any effort, any extra effort that you have to take will result in dropping the device. And even if you are, it's a life or death, compliance is really the number one issue with regard to most of
The
medicines.
wearables
So,
too, meaning I don't want to wear it, I forget to put it on.
or there is no more battery and everything.
Oh yeah,
So,
that's
uh,
awesome.
what we've thought about was like you need to wait, and weight is one of the most interesting index to know how you're doing. But most people were not weighting themselves enough for two main reasons. One is it's burdensome; you have to do some stuff, and that's not integrating properly in your daily routine.
And sometimes
And
I don't want to
second,
know the number, Thomas.
yeah,
Is that what you're gonna say?
that's
Yeah.
my second point. Is like we interviewed a lot of people who are waiting not enough, and they said 60% of them said, "I'm not waiting because I will be depressed in the morning. I'm just looking at the number." So uh, our studies also have shown that you don't need to know your exact weight at one moment. It doesn't really make sense. What is really important is a everyday trend. And that trend with a seamless device, which is our bath mat, so you walk on it every day, and we have a couple of unique technology that I will describe, will allow us to give you a couple of dots every day that will show how your weight evolve. And we will use this data set to tell you something is wrong. If you lose more than 5% of your weight over a small amount of time, you have a problem. But if you gain 200 grams, it's no big deal, and you didn't even change your diet or your lifestyle. So we are really changing the relationship you have to waiting. And in order to do that, we open a brand new area. We invented a new surface that is not only a scale, but it actually measure your posture and take your footprint. And so we measure your weight over time, your posture. When I say posture, is actually we have a pressure mat of
Mhm.
4,000 dots. So it's a unique footprint. But
Mm,
as well, we look at how your center of gravity is evolving,
right.
which give us some unique insight about risk of falling. And we are now doing some studies in elderly care
Right.
about
Mhm.
neurodegenerative diseases, which can be also detected by the evolution of
Right.
your center of
Mm.
gravity.
Now that is very exciting because we know risk of fall has significant impact in terms of one's quality of life and even mortality as we get older. I was very excited about that when I met with you. But the other thing I want to go back to is you mentioned about this connectivity. So you're really referring to the Internet of Things ability, but it's also connection to your doctor. So we spent a lot of time talking about self-care, but you've been a big proponent. We need to feed all this data back into the healthcare system. We don't want patients managing their skin conditions at home. We don't want patients dealing with muscle imbalance at home and trying to figure it out on their own. We want to feed it back into the healthcare system. Is that your approach with this technology to make sure that you include the healthcare system in decision making based on the data points?
Absolutely. So one of the biggest issue is, first of all, your bathroom were not connected, and if it was connected on a willing basis. Like I connect today, and I'm not going tomorrow. So the data set were poor. With this new view of connecting the bathroom, we call this protocol B Connect. So it's kind of some kind of a universal protocol that allows different devices to talk together. We have a data set, and I need to come back to this a little bit. That is accurate, and I call this biometric sensors. So we have some really interesting data about everybody. The number one requirement we hear from our user is, I want to feel safe. So none of those data will be, and before we share about with the broader community, those data will be yours under your full control, and there will be no sharing without your full aware consent. However, as you just mentioned, this data set is a unique contribution to research. So the first people we want to collaborate with this new data set, if you can connect those data to medical records and everything, you can correlate your
Hmm.
behavior and habits to the real condition of the person. And so the first partners we are looking for, the first people who are going to benefit from it will be clinical trials, researcher, and professionals. The second aspect is once we have identified a correlation or a link between the data we collect and a condition, then we can do two things. One is alerting the professional, like your heartbeats have changed, your weight has dropped, and then we create an alert system. So the example with oral care is like, my kid didn't brush their teeth. You can
Yeah.
alert the parents. You have just had surgery. I can remind you to go at or not to go too
Mm-hmm.
strong on one area. And if
Mm-hmm.
something is wrong, you can either do teleconferencing
Mm-hmm.
and then do on-site advice,
Mm-hmm.
or you can say you have to
Right.
go to us.
My son's always having trouble brushing his teeth. But is is the future doctor's office that bathroom that you're talking about? Is that what we're going to see in a couple of years?
Um, I think for 90%, I mean, if you look at your real use of doctor office
Mm-hmm.
and waiting room. So after COVID, we realized the waiting room is really the worst place to be,
Yeah.
and even because basically it's the best way to catch what you
Right.
don't have yet, because you're surrounded by sick people.
Mm-hmm.
So anything you will be able to do remotely will become possible, and that's the way I look at it.
And my toothbrush can check for strep. Why should I have to go in to do a test?
And
Maybe.
exactly, so we believe more and more. Medical tests will be delocalized at home. Uh, the all those sensors will somehow become a part of a more global intelligence and knowledge that could be used by professionals to coach you. Because on the other end, one of our discovery is like if you are just dealing with machine, you don't really change your behavior because at some point the machine start being bothering. So what I see is like the future of sensing and measuring will be your bathroom for most tests. I'm not talking MRI or all of those so heavy things, but most of the things you can do at home you will do, and eventually you will use a professional and some maybe new kind of people that I will call more coach or life coach that will look at compliance, taking all the also the analogy of oral care. It's really you have the hygienist that will take of you being with a healthy mouth, and that could be done remotely with some kind of coaching. And then you have the real medical work that will still be done by the person on site or via video chat.
Thomas, I want to thank you for taking the time today. Tell our viewers where they can learn more about you and what you're doing.
So Baracoda Daily Health Tech website could be found on www.baracoda, BARACODA.com. And we have a lot of exciting new innovation that we'll be showing at CS about daily health tech.
Well, thank you again. A bientôt.
À bientôt.